I am going to talk to you this evening about the first personal development book I read as a young 16 or 17-year-old guy going to school at Kingsgrove North High School, brought up and living in Belmore, and there I was, picked up a copy of the book Power by Anthony Robbins. That was my first personal development book. And what I'm going to say to you this evening, my friends, is I'm going to be sharing with you 9 lessons, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're a mortgage broker, whatever you're doing in business. These 9 lessons that I learned as a young person, and then at some point later in my life, I acted on them, have had a profound impact. And I've got to say to you, I want you to be pen and paper or take some notes or watch this video again, because what I love doing is not only providing to you education on this Sunday night, I like you to maybe execute, because ideation without execution is delusions. I'm going to repeat that. Ideation without execution is delusions. And I've got to tell you, there's a lot of people that are highly educated that have read the books but have not done the actions. And you know what? If you read a book and you don't take the action, it is like you never read the book. Hey, Lisa Novak. And whilst I'm talking about Lisa Novak, it's just reminded me, AREC is coming. AREC is on. People are dying to get out and about. And I'm letting you know, I'm so looking forward to it, because now I can tell it's only a couple of months away. And I want to remind you, AREC, the only way you can get a discount for AREC is to be a real estate gym member. And if you're not a real estate gym member, you can actually go on the real estate gym wait list at realestategym.com.au and wait till the doors open again. And once you are a gym member, you're going to be able to get yourself a $100 discount on the AREC ticket. So, and whilst we're talking about real estate gym, so excited, probably about a month away from the real estate gym app. Got to tell you, it's about $250,000 that's gone into it, but it's just going to be moving so seamlessly. And I've tried to make it the Netflix of real estate coaching. Guys and girls, let's go. Let's start. So there I was, 16 years of age. I'd picked up this book. And you know what's inspired this rant tonight? That during the week I had a coffee with a guy that used to live across the road from me. He was younger than me, family friends. And he's the one that reminded me that I would play Anthony Robbins in my car in a Datsun 120Y mustard color. So from a young age, I've got to tell you, I did have a fascination with curiosity, with progress, with improving, with hoping that what I had in my life was okay, but I wanted to make it better. So there was this innate appetite for me to improve on what I had. And what I had, well, look, to me, it felt like normal. But looking back now, I begin to realize it was closer to the lowest economic side of things in society. But at the time, you don't realize that. When you've got your mum and your dad and they love you and your brother are inseparable and he's your best friend. And that's why, of course, it's bloody cut me, because he was my brother and he was my best friend. But let's put that in a box and not talk about that today. Guys and girls, let me tell you, and David had a 180B as well. Guys and girls, let me tell you that this book, Power, and the second one I read was Awaken the Giant Within. It made me realize, and this is very important you understand this, it made me realize that as a human being, unlike an animal, that you could change the course and direction of your life by the way you thought. And if you changed your mindset, you could actually improve and drift somewhere that you'd like to go. And I'm going to tell you, do not underestimate the power of imagination. Imagination allows you to actually think of a future that is better than what you have at the moment. And I have to tell you, that's what it was as a young Greek little kid being brought up with a pretty poor family, living in an area where I've got to tell you, in the streets I lived, it wasn't weed, it was heroin. Correct, it was heroin. And I had many of the people around me that went on to heroin, and many haven't come off. So gang, why am I excited? Because right now, I don't know where you are. You might be in Belmore or Lakemba. You might be in Mount Druitt. You might be living in a housing commission area. You might actually have a family that is totally dysfunctional. Listen to me very carefully. In my 35 years of real estate and 20 years of personal development, coaching and training, I've learned some of the greatest agents that become the brightest come from the darkest backgrounds. Correct. So I'm saying to you, what you need to understand is you don't have to settle for what you've got. Please remember that. You don't have to accept. And it's a little bit like a fly. You know, a fly that is in a jar and tries to get out of a jar, but there's a lid on the jar and it tries to get out and it tries to get out and it tries to get out. And every time it tries to get out, it just keeps hitting the lid. And then it starts getting this belief, this narrative, this story, this value that says there's no point. I can't get out of here. It won't make a difference no matter what I do. And then it learns this thing called helplessness. It becomes a learned behavior, and it becomes the way that the fly looks at its life. There's no point. Stay here. You can't do anything. And then when you take the lid off the fly doesn't even try to get out. Why? Because it's conditioned itself to accept this is my lot in life. And I'm saying to you as I start off this rant, the first lesson I want to let you know tonight is, what beliefs have you settled for? What are the standards that you've just accepted are your standards? So Susan, write this down for people that want to have the notes here. Lesson number 1, you've got to learn to raise your standards, to shift your shoulds and make them musts. Do you understand that? Your shoulds and make them musts. Not, I should eat better, I shouldn't smoke, I shouldn't drink, I shouldn't take coke, I should make more phone calls, I should wake up early. No, I'm saying you raise your standards and these shoulds become musts. They become ingrained in you. They become the new way of you. So I'm going to ask you, what have you settled for? And lesson number 1, inspired by Anthony Robbins, is that what I want you to do is to raise your standards where you will say, no more will I accept this. And I clearly remember the time that I moved from a should to a must with drinking. And I'm not talking about social drinking. I'm talking about I would occasionally go out and, party hard and have the wine, the beer, and then the shots. And then on this particular morning, a few decades ago, I'm in Perth and I wake up and I've got a hangover and I've got to get to the airport to get a flight. And then I've got to get to Sydney. And then I remembered I had to do something really important that night. And I just felt a mess. And as I sat there at the airport, staring at the screen with all the flights, and things look like vaguely familiar because you're so hungover, because you've drunk so much, and you've had hardly any sleep, and you're dehydrated, and you're tired, and you're feeling terrible. I remember saying to myself, that's it. No longer will I ever do this again. I am not going to be someone that gets smashed. End of story. And that was it. It was done and finished. It was like the minute I made that decision, it was like some button went there and said, this is it. He is a non-getting smashed person. And I'm going to let you know, my friends, as I'm talking to you tonight, raise your standards. Please remember this, who you are today is simply a result of a set of standards that you decided you would live up to a decade ago. Correct. That's what it is. So rule number 1, shift your shoulds to musts. Raise your standards, because I'm letting you know, when you raise your standards, this ain't about willpower. This ain't about motivation. You have created a new identity. This is a new you. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 that I've learned through the literature of Anthony Robbins. And by the way, for the record, I had a bit of doubt about the guy, and I don't like everything he does. But I did do, while I was doing my coaching psychology degree, I did do an analysis of his work, because I wanted to work out, was he more style than substance, right? And I'm convinced that a lot of his content is okay. Number 2, be truly fulfilled. Be truly fulfilled. You want to be successful, you want to be fulfilled. I want to let you know, there are 3 roles in the lives of business people. Here they are. You've got the talent, you've got the leader manager, and you've got the entrepreneur. I'm going to say that again. There are 3 people in the world of business. You've got the talent, you've got the leader manager, and you've got the entrepreneur. And what you need to do to have this sustainable long-term happiness, and why is this important? Because I'm telling you, a happy agent becomes a successful agent. Not a successful agent becomes a happy agent. And I'm going to let you know, to be truly fulfilled, you've got to make sure that you, my friends, are living the thing that is making you have a life on your terms. And that means for you to identify, are you a person that feels more fulfilled being a talent, a leader manager, or an entrepreneur? And I'm going to give you an example of that. The talent is the sales agent, and they just want to be really, really talented at their craft. They want to be so good. They want to be a pro at that role as a sales agent. That's the talent. And for many people, they should stay there. They can make more money and they can be really happy. Then you move on and you got the leader manager. The leader manager feels more fulfilled inside when they're actually coordinating people, when they're actually helping people grow. They're very much more about helping people on their path. They get a big kick out of watching people grow and leading them. And then you've got the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is creative. The entrepreneur loves to take risks. The entrepreneur likes to do things that don't exist and create them. So they're very creative. And what I want to let you know, you need to identify in your own life, your personal psychological fingerprint. What are you more inclined to be? The talent, the leader manager, or the entrepreneur? Because I've got to let you know, when you live that and you start living your life on purpose and you match your inside to outside work, that's where there's happiness in life. For instance, me, I got to tell you, I enjoy the stage. I enjoy the auction. I enjoy being the talent. And I've got to let you know, there are other people I know who totally enjoy being an entrepreneur, where they're opening up all sorts of businesses. So gang, what's lesson number 2? Be truly fulfilled. Someone that's happy becomes successful. Number 3, Susan, is this: progress equals happiness in business. Progress equals happiness in business. Please understand, progress does not mean change. Change is automatic, my friends, but progress is not. Progress is an option. Everything's changing all the time. We have no control over that. your fingernails are getting bigger, your hair color's going grayer. My friends, change is happening around us by the moment. But progress is intentional. Progress is the thing that brings you happiness. Because I've got to tell you, the people that I know that are successful are people that love knowing that they're moving forward. And they're moving forward in all areas of their life. They're moving forward with their health and fitness. They're moving forward with their business. They're moving forward with their family. They're moving forward financially and their net worth. This concept of progress is so important. Guys and girls, let me move on to number 4. The number 4 lesson tonight, inspired by Anthony Robbins, is this. Love your customers. Love your customers, my friend. Love your customers more than you love your listing presentation. Love your customers more than you love your business. Love your customers more than you love your franchise. Love your customers more than anything else. And I'm going to say to you, listen to me carefully, treat people at the end of the relationship like it's the beginning, and it will never end, my friends. Did you understand what I just said that? Picture this. You sell a property to a buyer. You show up at the final inspection before settlement and you say to the buyer, by the way, Mr. Buyer, I want to let you know, whilst today is the final inspection before settlement, I want you to know, for me, the relationship with you actually begins today. I, my friends, am going to be your agent for life. And it starts with today. So here's a small gift, a $100 coffee voucher tomorrow to have breakfast at our local cafe. And here are the names of 3 people that live in your street. You can ring them in the next few days and they'll tell you what days the garbage gets picked up and anything else you want to know. And by the way, I'm diarising to visit you in a year's from now because I'm going to be giving you a health update on the value of your home. And I'm going to do that every year whilst you live in this suburb. My friends, that's what I mean by having the relationship start at the end. And I've got to tell you, you got to fall in love with your customers when you're not getting anything out of them. That's what you've got to do. Because most people only fall in love with their client in their database is when they sign up the listing. No, my friends, when you win share of heart, you win share of wallet. Fall in love with your customer and ditch that listing presentation you're madly obsessed with. Number 5. Add value. We live in a world now in social media where every day I'm just seeing posts of people trying to elevate their status out there in the world. Trying to say, look at me, I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm smarter than my competition. No, my friends. What I'm going to say to you, in a world of marketing, you know what stands out? Value creation. People love value add. Show more, do more, give more. And I've got to say to you, in a world where people are getting pissed off with the commission breath approach of marketers, what they're dying for is for someone to go in and say, here's this stuff for you. I have this information. This is for you. And I want nothing from you. That's what I mean by adding value. Move away from being a commodity and start being a value-added provider. Show more, do more, give more, as Davis says. Share info, not ego. And I've got to say to you, by the way, that's what I've been doing for 5 years, every Sunday night, come in here and I'll say, here's this topic. Today it's Anthony Robbins. Last week I think we did David Goggins. Sometimes we do real estate specific. Even when I felt unwell, I knew it was a must. Did you see what I just said? That wasn't a should, I should do the rant. It's a must. Even my friends, when I was going through chemo head, that's right, the nausea, the vomiting, I would actually just get up there and fake it, my friends. And whilst we're talking about that, you heard the news on Monday, those that you follow me. Woohoo! The PET scans come clear. The first PET scan since 2019, April in fact, where they go in and they look at every millimeter of your body, every possible cell. And you know what they found, my friends? It's called NED, no evidence of disease, NED. And you know what they also said? That there is zero cancer, my friends. So you know how I feel? Everything's looked beautiful this week. It's colours everywhere. And why wouldn't it be when you've had to have gone through the process for 3 times in your life, 3 times chemo, 3 times radiation. 2 of the times we had to go through and do antibody stuff, had my stem cells taken out, and I'm sitting here when I was told in 2006 it was an incurable diagnosis and I'm NED. How do I feel? I feel like God has touched me. That's how I feel. Number six. Thank you. Thank you, God. Number 6, have an exit strategy. Have an exit strategy. Have an exit strategy, my friends. What do I mean by that? Even if you're not remotely thinking of selling your business, you have to operate your business and act and behave in a way that it is going to be sold. Why? Because you need to start understanding that your business at some point may be someone else's business if you are running a business. And you've got to start thinking to yourself, if they took my business, what multiplier would they give me, right? If they bought this business. So you've got to act and behave in a way that your business can be taken over by another person. So here's the deal. Often I have coaching sessions with principals and what they're saying to me, Tom, we don't know what to do with our business. We want people in our business to buy parts of it, but we can't. They're basically looking for a buyer. They need a succession plan. Do you realize there's a bunch of people that are 40, 50, 55, 60. They've got businesses that are worth $5, $6, $7 million. They've got big rent rolls, but there's not buyers out there to buy them. So what they want to do is hopefully get a salesperson to come in and buy 10% of it. And then they can say, hey, they'll get 10%, they'll get 15%. Do you understand what I'm talking about, guys and girls? That's what I'm talking about. Plan the escape. Plan the escape. Plan the escape. And if you're working somewhere now, plan the escape. And I'm saying it to you. I'm not trying to demotivate you. But what I'm saying to you is, there'll be a time, it'll be 7:30 at night, you'll be doing a listing presentation. It will be your 1,500th listing presentation. And you'll be sitting there at night at someone's house and they'll say, but the other agent said that they're going to do it for 0.5% less. And you're going to say, you know what? They can take the listing and you can keep your money and I can keep my time. I'm out of here. See you later, alligator. And that might be your last listing presentation. You need to understand you will have a last listing presentation at some point in your life. So what I want you to do is to plan the escape. And what does plan the escape look like? You've got to make money while you sleep. And in real estate, it makes sense that you invest it in property that can give you a yield, give you a rental income. If you want, put it in the share market. What you want to do is be able to make money while you sleep, because if you don't, you're going to work for the rest of your life. Have an exit strategy, my friends. Plan to it. Number 7, pay attention to the little details. Pay attention to the little details, because I'm going to let you know, things don't happen all of a sudden. They happen because a lot of the little details added up. Have you ever heard me say the term, everything good happens gradually, then suddenly? Have you ever heard me say the term, everything bad happens gradually, then suddenly? Well, my friends, let me tell you. You know the heart attack that someone gets on the 15th of February 2021? That didn't happen then. That happened with the little details. Bacon and egg roll, bacon and egg roll, bacon and egg roll. No exercise, no exercise, no exercise. Stress, stress, stress. For 10 years, bacon and egg roll, no exercise, stress, stress, stress. Guys and girls, life happens gradually, then suddenly. Worry about the little details. It's all these little failures that add up to something bad suddenly. Things in life, good and bad, happen gradually, then suddenly. A divorce. It was this lie to your partner. It was these conversations you weren't having. And then 5-6 years, this little stuff, bang, a divorce on this day. And everyone says, oh, it was that day. It wasn't that day. It was all these other little days along the way. We're up to number 8. And that is look for leverage. Look for leverage, my friends. It's going to change your business life. For me, I clearly remember I made the decision that I wanted to actually be the number 1 engaged real estate thought leader and coach in Australia and New Zealand. This was an intention of mine in 2010. And I've got to tell you, the leverage that made it happen was I had to impact a large group of people in one go where they would turn around and say, wow, that was amazing. And that opportunity came. The leverage was to speak at AREC in 2012 as the first Australian to have a 45-minute keynote at the AREC conference. And I scored number 1 speaker at that conference, my friends, and that changed the game. People started opting into my content. Then I started using social media, but it was the leverage of that conference because there's no way I could have impacted 3,500 people in a faster way than having them in a room. So I've got to say to you that leverage is power. I think even now on this rant, there's a client I'm going to visit on the 25th of March, incredible operator, Stephen from Love in, I think in the Warners Bay area, I think where it is. But I went online and I was looking at him and looking at what he does. And then I went on and I actually thought to myself, I had this conversation with him on the phone last night when he, asked me to go up and do a half-day workshop for his office, which I do half-day workshops at people's offices. And I love those because people can't hide in the workshop. They can hide at a big conference, but in a room with 10 of us, they can't hide. And that's where we get truth. And with truth, we get progress. And he just sort of, said, this is what I do. I've got lead generators that just create leads. Then I've got people that just list. And then I've got people that just sell. And that gave me an idea. That's leverage, my friends. That's leverage. So ask yourself, by the way, delegation is not leverage. Leverage is something that you do that has this profound impact, right? Profound impact. And it brings me to number 9. And number 9, which I sort of started with, was, my friends, change your mindset. Change your mindset. And I've got to tell you, unlike, animals and trees, do you realize that humans, we're the only things on the planet that can change the course and direction of our life by choosing to actually raise our standards? And as a young kid, as this young Greek kid being brought up in Belmore, I just made the decision, you know what? I'm reading this book, and this book says that if you think and you visualize and you take actions that are aligned with the direction that you want your life to take, that you're actually going to drift in that direction. And where you are now is not as important as where you're heading. And I remember reading that direction over speed. Don't be impatient. Be patient, but be heading in the right direction. And I've got to say to you, my friends, wherever you are right now, celebrate the fact that you were lucky enough to be born on this planet. Celebrate the fact that chances are you're in Australia or New Zealand, the places the whole world wants to be right now because of the way we've managed COVID. Celebrate the fact that you're a human being. You're not a tree. If you're not happy, you can move. If you're not happy, you can move. You can make decisions, because with better decisions, you'll take better actions. And with better actions, you'll get better results. My friends, things get better by choice, not by chance. No one's going to come to the rescue. Save yourself. Spend some time thinking about it and take it from someone who has walked the path of bumpy roads, who has walked the path of lots of punches in the face, who has walked the path of living with uncertainty. The great news is that if you get clarity, you don't need therapy. If you get super clear of something that you want and you work consistently every day towards that gradually you're going to get there, and all of a sudden it's going to be suddenly. The little steps matter. Direction over speed. Guys and girls, share the rant. I have another high value, and that is impact. Impact as many people as you can. And you know how I'm going to do that? I've reduced my swearing. It means that you can feel more comfortable about sending it to whoever you want. Do me a favor. Share the rant. I want someone out there who right now may be uncertain with how their life's progressing to have a listen to this, because I've got to tell you, if it's got to be, it's up to me. Choose yourself.